In this video, I'll give you the safest tight ends to target in 2024 fantasy redraft leagues. I'm Jim Coventry of RotoWire. Hey, let's start out with Travis Kelce. I know he's aging. I know he dealt with some injury that lingered last year, and age and injury recovery can often be linked together. I want to point this out. Many people are talking as if the Chiefs are going to put Kelce in bubble wrap this year, preserve him for the playoffs, making this crazy narrative. Oh, he has no reason to be out there. He's achieved everything. Just get him for the Super Bowl and we're good. Are you serious? Travis Kelce is an ultimate competitor. Patrick Mahomes is an ultimate competitor. And even in the preseason games, Kelce was on the field with Mahomes. If they're going to play Kelce in a preseason game, they are not backing off him on the regular season. So people that are blowing that kind of air out there, ignore it. It makes zero sense. Kelce, 121 targets last year. For him, not great. Played 15 games. We've seen him at 134 targets in 21 and 152 targets in 2022. Travis Kelce's in a great situation this year. The last 2 years when Tyreek Hill left, teams were really ganging up on Kelce. And that first year, 1,338 yards and 12 touchdowns stunned me. He was able to beat all that coverage. Last year, again, dealing with an injury, 984 yards and 5 touchdowns in 15 games. That is as safe as it comes. So what's better this year for Kelce? I know Marquise Brown is recovering from an injury. He'll eventually be fine. Xavier Worthy gets drafted. Super speed. Marquise Brown, when he's there, excellent speed. What does that speed do? It does what the Chiefs haven't been able to do the last 2 years. Stretch the field and concern the safeties. Yes, teams were playing too high safety over the top to try to limit explosive plays against the Chiefs, but the safeties were creeping down at the snap and often at the expense of Travis Kelce because nobody feared Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Justin Watson. This year, Worthy and Marquise Brown are a complete different beast. That is game-breaking speed, and Patrick Mahomes hunts big plays like nobody else. Buys time, looks downfield. Those safeties that used to creep down and chase Kelce, they will not have that luxury this year. What does that mean? Kelce is going to be back to having excellent space in the middle of the field. And doesn't matter who's guarding Kelce, the chemistry between Kelce and Mahomes, the symmetry, not going away. And remember when we saw Kelce last, the NFL playoffs last year, a healthy Kelce with defenses gunning for him, averaged 21 and a half PPR points. Now, I know it's irresponsible to extrapolate that to a 17-game schedule, but let's have some fun. What do those numbers come out to for a full season? Those playoff numbers, 136 catches, 1,513 yards, 13 touchdowns. No, Kelce's not getting you 1,500 yards, but he easily should sail over 1,000 yards. And people are taking Sam Laporta as the tight end one. In my mind, that's a mistake. Kelce is safe, and Kelce is consistent, and he is the tight end one. All right, a little bit later, Mark Andrews. I do believe Mark Andrews is safe. Everybody wants to say that Mark Andrews is an injury-prone player. Yes, last year, the hip drop tackle, Andrews had missed week 1, by the way. Hip drop tackle, he misses the last 6. He missed 7 games. I get it. But in the prior 5 years, how many games did Mark Andrews miss? Let's see. I could count them on one hand. It's 5, an average of 1 missed game per year. The NFL is a violent sport. Most players miss time. Andrews missed a very reasonable amount of time. And last year, all right, week 1, he missed. Week 2 and 3, he was clearly recovering from the injury, wasn't quite right. We saw he was right from weeks 3 until, just say week 10, because week 11, he played 7 snaps. You can't count that game. The rest of his games, 900-yard pace. Understand this. The Baltimore offense was getting better as the season went on. The passing game got better from week 12 on. Andrews wasn't on the field. Andrews will be in with the improvements and off-season additions to the offensive scheme. Andrews is the seam stretcher. He's their best vertical threat, and he is Lamar Jackson's guy. Often you can get Andrews as the 5th tight ends in draft. Very consistent, high floor. The worst season that we really have Andrews with was when he had 701 yards and 7 touchdowns a few years back. That's not a bad season, but he has a higher floor than that in most scenarios. He's one of 5 tight ends to have 1,000 yards in the last 5 seasons. It was 1,300. He won't do that again. But seriously, Mark Andrews, healthier than people think. I know he had the car accident, but he seems to be fine from that. Very, very useful. If you enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the RotoWire Fantasy Football channel on YouTube. Also, you can check out all of our fantasy football content and rankings by getting a free 2-day trial with no credit card needed. Just head on over to rotowire.com/Jim and you can see all of our content. All right, if you need a second tight end in 2 tight end leagues, or if you're reserving one, a late tight end who's actually consistent, and that's rare, put those 2 together. Tyler Conklin of the New York Jets. Did you know that Conklin has exactly 87 targets in each of the last 3 seasons? He has between 552 yards and 621 yards in those 3 seasons. The catches between 58 and 61. Does it get more consistent than that? Now, touchdowns. In 2021, 2022, 3 touchdowns each season. Last year, the Jets stunk. They couldn't move the ball. No touchdowns. But realistically, the targets could drop a little bit. Aaron Rodgers is there. They have Garrett Wilson. Mike Williams seems to be getting healthy. But look, Tyler Conklin has had bankable volume 3 years in a row. Even if you took off 15 targets, got him near 70. That's still a stable performer who's been very good. And you make a case. It's the best quarterback play by far that Tyler Conklin has had, because Aaron Rodgers, if he looks anything like he did pre-injury, it's an excellent quarterback. We know that. So if you need that second tight end, Tyler Conklin is very safe.